Okay, what do you want to know?
What do you want to know?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Not from the beginning.
Tell me about your life as a little girl.
Where
Life
you
as a
lived,
little
where you were
girl.
born.
In
Be quiet.
in Grodzisk. Uh, we were four girls. My mother was in business. She never had time for us.
What was her business?
A grocery store.
It was downstairs from where
Downstairs, we lived upstairs. The grocery store was downstairs. My father was a tailor, and on top of it, in the summertime, he used to rent orchards.
you lived, right? Was he a good tailor?
Very good tailor.
Yeah. What kind of stuff did he do? Like
Very
people would come to make masks and to make suits?
custom-made suits.
Mm-hmm.
His father was also a tailor. And
Where was his store? Also in the same building where you lived?
he didn't have a store. He used to work with his father.
Uh-huh.
And in the summertime, he used to rent orchards. That's where we went. In the summertime, it was a big deal for us going to the orchards and sleep there.
What would he do what would he rent the orchards for?
He grew the fruits,
Uh-huh.
and then when they were ripe, Goyim picked them, and he used to store them on a boydem. How do you say boydem?
You say boydem.
On a boydem. And then he used to sell them. And my booba, my father's mother, she brought us up. I remember we were very
She
big.
lived down the street there in
Yeah,
those
yeah,
row of buildings
yeah,
there
yeah.
that you showed me?
Her and his two sisters. He had two sisters, my father. He had another sister that lived far away. The baba always used to put on her shaitel, I remember, and
She
go.
had a shaitel?
Of
For
course.
what?
She wore a tichel. She was very religious.
Not when I knew her. But okay.
Not
You're
which
talking about her mother.
Oh, you okay.
Nicht,
Not my
bu-
baba, your
my,
baba.
my
Okay.
baba had a shaitel, and she wore a tichel.
Yeah.
And she used to come early in the morning and didn't leave till at night. We were very bad eaters. You know what she used to do with us? She used to run on the street with us, and we used to watch in the store windows, and she used to put in a spoon here, a spoon there. And then when I went to school, I remember I was embarrassed. She used to bring me food to school
To make sure you ate, huh?
to make sure I ate.
That's the one thing we haven't tried about.
That's what kind of a booba she was.
So this was her full-time job, was taking
Yeah.
care of you guys.
Yeah. And when I went to school, the only thing my mother made sure is to make homework with us. She was very,
Oh, yeah?
that's the only thing she was after. But bringing us up, everything to booba.
Because she was in the store.
She was in a store, she was all business.
She ran the whole store by herself.
Yeah, it was a small store, it was a grocery. Wasn't a supermarket like now they have.
Uh-huh.
And
Was she a good businesswoman?
very good. I think so. What did I know? I was 9 years old when the war broke out. What did I know about business? But I know that
Ze had gevierd de Marie.
she feared the Malichas, that's right. And my father had his business, and
Okay. Your grandparents were more religious than your parents.
I don't remember my father davening every day, but he used to go to shul every Shabbos
Oh, yeah?
with us, yeah,
Uh-huh.
with kids.
Okay.
But I don't, maybe he davened, but I don't remember.
All right.
My
So-
Zaida, his father,
Yeah.
he davened every day. He was a tailor, but I don't think he was such a good tailor.
Well, he was probably an old tailor. by
And
then.
very old, he was tall, he was over 6 feet tall, I
Oh, yeah,
remember.
it's very tall for that.
Yeah, and he used to he worked till the last, he died when he was in his 90s. You know how he died?
No.
He sat on a chair and he bent down to pick up a needle. And he dropped the needle
Yeah.
in something,
Oh, he had a stroke.
he had a stroke, and that's how he wasn't sick, nothing. And from my mother's
What year
side,
did he die?
what? a few months
38?
before the war,
39.
the beginning of 39, I think. And my mother's father, I think he was on his third wife.
Huh? Tell me about. They also lived in Grudges?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody lived in Grudges.
But my mother's
How was he on his third wife? What happened to the first two?
I think they died. Because Fettarella and another brother and my mother were from his second wife. From his first wife,
What does that mean? Feta Ella was from his second wife.
Fettarella, my mother, and there was another brother. He died in Warsaw when they bombarded. He,
So they were all children from his second wife.
he had also children from his first wife.
So
you
that
know,
was your half brothers and half sisters.
no,
That's your mother's half brothers and half sisters.
no,
Why
my
not?
mother's full brother because
Why?
Fettarella and the other brother, my mother, were from one wife.
Fine, but the children from the first wife
You
didn't
know
have
who-
the same mother as.
No, do you know who were the
Did I
children?
get that right though?
Yeah, you know
There
who
were other
the,
children who had the same father but not the same mother.
you know who
So that's
were,
half brothers and
you
sisters.
know who was the first?
No.
You remember Grossman Butch from Canada?
Sure.
Her mother was from the first wife, and
So he was a corsage but not from.
that's a white sir. My
I'm
mother's
sorry.
name.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
And there was another brother from the first wife, the one that lived in Tennessee.
Oh sure. Yeah.
He was from the first wife. And the third wife, I don't know, to us she was good, but none of the kids liked her.
So she was like your step grandmother or something?
We didn't call her even grandmother. Her name was Ruchala. We called her Ruchala. That's all we didn't call her grandmother.
Did she have other children? from
No,
different
I don't
mothers?
think so, no. They claimed that she was very mean to them, all the kids. My
Oh.
mother and her two brothers,
Well, okay.
because my mother's father, he was very rich.
Okay.
He he was in transport business.
He had trucks or something?
Then they didn't have trucks, they had horses and buggies.
Uh-huh.
And he had people working for him. And he had his own horses. And he had, where we went, where I told you where the warehouse was,
Yeah.
that's where the place, all the horses
Oh, and it had
were.
like a big yard going all
Yeah.
the way back.
Yeah, that's
all the
where all the horses, stables.
So
were
that
ho-
was your grandfather's business.
Yeah, and over there was also a house. I told you his children didn't get along with Ruchala,
Right.
so he put up Fettarella and the other son in this house. They never worked, those two boys.
Oh, yeah?
All I remember, every time we used to come, the shutters were closed. They used to sleep all day. That's all I remember. And
Oh, wait, so we put them up in their own house so they wouldn't have to live with each other?
Ruchala, yeah.
How old were they then? They were,
Fettarella,
they were, the Buddha was old enough to have kids already, so these must have been guys in their 20s already.
Oh yeah, they had the nicest, by then, they had like bikes, those 10-speeders.
Yeah.
They used to drive those 10-speeders. I remember he used to have like a bottle of water that he used to drink from the,
Like a plastic
Yeah.
bottle you squeeze.
and a big treat for us used to be, he used to drive up to our house and take us on
Was
the
this Fete Yitzchak?
Vatarella.
Fete-
He used to take us,
The frame.
and that was a big deal for us. In the Zayda, my mother's father, he didn't miss a day. He used to come and give us each 5 cents. 5 groschen. Then 5 groschen was a lot of money.
It was enough to buy an ice cream.
An ice cream, even more than he didn't miss a day.
For all the kids.
For all, first was 3, Phyllis was a baby. So he didn't miss a day.
So at least to you he was rich anyway. He was rich enough to buy
Oh, there
ice
was
cream.
another sister. She had a candy store. My
Which
mother.
other sister?
My mother.
What was her
Yeah.
name?
Feige was her name.
Okay.
She had a candy store.
Uh-huh.
But with her, we were only close with my father's
It's too
two
bad. You could have gotten a lot of candy.
We had candies at my mother's store.
That's true.
But we were closer with my father's two sisters. Matter of fact, I named one was Ruhu, the other was Rivka. And with the others, oh, she had another sister, my mother. She also
From
was
which
a,
wife anyway?
her,
the
I
same?
think, was the same wife that my mother. She also married very rich, I remember, because she used to come every time to Grodzies. She didn't live in Grodzies. Her husband, I don't know what he was, but she was very rich, and she also had a girl, also named Sura. Like
What was her name?
Her name was Golden.
Golden. Nobody's named after her.
No. She always used to, at that time, if you came with, wie heißt man fucking a mantle?
A what?
Persian call.
Not the Risha Persian.
A
There
fur
is
coat?
a fur coat, black fur.
Pelts.
A black fur. Not everybody in Poland had such a coat.
Uh-huh.
She always used to come, I remember in her, they had one child,
Sara. Sura.
Sura. She always was dressed to kill.
Uh-huh.
And then
So how many sisters and brothers did your mother have? I didn't get the full number yet.
she had,
Like a half a dozen here.
yeah, he had a lot of wives and a lot of kids.
Uh-huh.
And from my father's side, there was Fete Yitzchok, which he was in France.
Huh? How did he end up in France?
I don't know how he ended up in
Fete Yitzchak and Fete Ella.
No, Fete Yitzchok is my father's brother.
Okay.
And my father had another sister also in France. You remember Jeanette?
I met them once, yeah.
She is a daughter of one of the sisters, is Jeanette.
Right, okay. How did part of his family end up in France?
I don't know how they decided.
But they were in France from when you were a little girl.
Yeah,
Did you go visit them in France?
no,
It's a long trip.
no, we didn't go visit in France.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and my father also had a sister in America, the Sara chick.
From Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
remember.
how we end up with a branch of the family in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
I remember for every holiday they used to come an envelope with money
Dollars.
from America. She used to send for every holiday. She used to send money to Grodzies.
Uh-huh.
But we were mostly close with my father's family, and
With
with
your
the
father?
side, with my father, and with the Buba, with Kuchel she cared less
Uh-huh.
because these weren't her grandchildren.
Right.
But my grandfather really, he was a family man.
Uh-huh.
As I told you, there wasn't a day, and he was very busy. There wasn't a day that he missed.
Enjoying his grandchildren.
Yeah. And that's about what I remember from growing
What
up.
did you do on Shabbos in Grodzisk?
We used to go to shul with my father.
What kind of shul? Hasidish?
Yeah.
Yeah, your family is
Yeah.
Hasidic?
Yeah. My
From the
grandfather.
Grodzisk Rav.
the-
There's a
my-
big Rav, you told me.
I don't. We used to go to shul I told you, I don't remember my father davening every day, but I remember going with him to shul every Shabbos.
Yeah.
My mother used to dress us up really. She was standing, dressed us up and turned us around once and twice and three times to see if everything matches. She used to take us to a seamstress and custom-made dresses for us.
Your father couldn't make you, he did
My
men's
father-
clothes? He was
No,
a tailor, you said.
he
did
did
men's clothes.
only men's clothes.
Okay.
He didn't. And
So you remember that you got dressed up in nice clothes. You know, should you play outside or?
yeah, I had friends, yes. And then when I went to school, as I told you, we were also dressed very nice, and my mother really was after us with the homework. She had only problems with my sister Jean. She never wanted to do her just like a hero.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
My sister Jean never liked homework.
What did she like? Boys? No, she was too young.
No,
for
she
boys.
was too young. You know what she liked? She liked to sew. Since I remember, she liked to sew
Mhm.
or to knit. I remember my mother's father bought for her, I don't know how you call, a thimble when she was about 3 or 4 years old.
And she used to use it with a needle.
Yeah, he bought for her a thimble.
What about Rose?
Rose was
She was a
much
little girl,
younger. Rose was much younger than we were. Me and
Phyllis
Jean.
was a baby.
Phyllis was a baby. We carried
And
when the war broke.
Herschel wasn't born.
Herschel wasn't born. Herschel was born in Germany after the war. So, and I think we had everything.
Yeah, you had a high standard of living there?
I think so. I think so.
All the ice cream you could eat?
All the ice cream, all the candies. I remember my mother used to have some, in Poland, they didn't sell cigarettes. These heißt Gilzes. Tam de weiß, was ist Gilzes?
It's a French cigarette, isn't it?
Cigarette paper to make
To
cigarettes.
make cigarettes. They look like cigarettes, but you have to put in tobacco
You
in
roll
it.
your own, yeah.
No, they were rolled already, Maris.
Oh yeah?
They were the only thing they had to do was with some stuffer. They used to stuff it with tobacco, and she used to have boxes and box in the house. And each box used to be a prize. Like now in Kellogg's,
Yeah.
the kids find
They
a
gave
prize.
kids prizes in cigarette boxes?
We used to open up hundreds of boxes to take
Oh,
out.
but then they couldn't sell them anymore.
No, to open up and take out those prizes from those me and Angie.
Oh yeah? What, did Bubba know about it? Did your mother know that you were stealing all the prizes?
Well, after the day she saw what we were doing. And what else did we do? I remember my father liked to make his own wine. He used to bring from Warsaw cherries and grapes, and we had a big commode and big those Pizza Heights gorges. They were like big bottles,
Jugs.
but from glass, not. And my father used to make the wine. You know, we used to open it up and pull out most of the cherries from the wine. Sometimes
You
we
get
would,
drunk from the cherries?
yeah. Sometimes we would fall asleep from, and.
So were your parents strict with you, or they let you run around and do what you
As I
wanted?
told you, my father didn't have time to us, and my mother didn't have time to us. It was only the Bubba and his two sisters that brought us up. They were the ones that took care on us. All my mother did make sure that we did our homework when we went to school. That was most important to her.
So, it's on again. So, where were we?
About family.
Yeah.
Very close-knit family.
With a lot
One
of,
side was poor and the other side was very rich.
how'd they get together? Poor and rich like that.
I don't know. How they get together? You mean my father and my mother?
Yeah. It wasn't a shidduch. You don't shidduch up a
No,
very poor with a
my
very
mother
rich.
always told us. My mother went to college in Poland. Not seldom somebody went to college.
She went to
college.
Yes,
What did she study there?
business, I think.
Okay.
And my father, she said, was the most handsome guy in Grodzisk.
Okay.
And her father said, no way will she marry Taylor's son, who was very poor. And my mother used to told us, she told her father, if she isn't marrying my father, she's gonna kill herself. That's how hot the romance was there. Yeah.
Okay, so they got married anyway.
They got married anyway. And my mother had,
So where did she go to college?
I don't, in Grodzisk,
There was a
Warsaw,
college in Grudges?
or Warsaw maybe, I don't know where. I never asked.
Okay. Okay. So let's move forward to the beginning of the war then.
I remember when the war started, the first bomb fell near the church. Did I show you the church?
Yeah. Which isn't far from your house.
No, and a few people were killed then. So I remember we had masks. I don't know.
Masks for what? For gas?
They said they gonna throw gas. So we had masks, and there was a bunker in the house where we lived, in the yard. Everybody ran to the bunker. When the bombardment stopped, we all went back to our houses, and then I remember the Germans came
Into Grudges.
into Grodzisk, and right away they took the men away for the whole day to work to dig ditches.
All the men or just,
All the men.
not just the Jews?
Maris, there were 95% Jews in Grodzisk.
Grudges is Jews, huh?
95% Jews.
Okay.
And every morning my father used to go, the group used to start up near the church was the whole meeting place. I don't know for how long.
So what kind of labor did he have to do?
Dig ditches and clean, he used to mostly dig ditches outside of Grodzisk. They used to not to travel, they used to walk outside of Grodzisk, the whole town of men. The women and children they didn't touch yet. And after a few months my father got tired of it, and I don't know from where he found out that he can go on hiding.
With the whole family?
With the whole family. But my mother, no way will she leave her store, and she wouldn't leave her silver candlesticks and her plush in the colders.
Or red furniture? Yeah.
And the red furniture, it was red.
I know, it was her favorite color.
Yeah. And she said no way will she leave it. And so my mother said, if they don't touch women, why doesn't they smuggled someplace. I know they had to pass some kind of a water on a...
Who smuggled?
My father smuggled out, I don't know where they went to, but I know they went with a canoe over a lake or something.
They went with you or
No, but he went by himself because my mother said she doesn't want to leave.
So she was going to stay with the kids because the Germans weren't doing anything to women and kids, and he ran away.
He ran away.
Someplace over a lake with a canoe.
With a canoe, because there was holes that my father wasn't the only one. A lot of men from Grodzisk did that. They paid those poles, and those poles took them. I don't know where to.
Okay. Was it far away?
I don't know. And we stayed in Grodzisk, and the Buba still took care of.
Did you hear from your father during that?
I don't remember. The Buba took care of us, and
Ran the store.
my mother ran the store. And although I remember the Poles used to stay near the store and said not to buy by Jews. And then my
But
father.
you just said the whole town was Jewish, 95%.
Yeah, but we had a lot of people. Matter of fact, my mother's customers were mostly Poles. Poles that used to work at the railroad and the farmers.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you know what else the Bubi used to do with us? In Poland, there was a big deal to drink the milk right away from the cow.
Uh-huh. Without boiling it?
Without boiling it. She used to take us I don't know if every day, but very often, outskirts of Grodzisk to a farmer. And she used to sit, I remember the goy and milk the cows. And the Bubi used to give us the warm milk from the cows. That today it's
Yeah, science has a different idea
Yeah.
about it. But if it's a healthy cow, it's fine.
That's what she used to do. Anyways, after I don't know how long, not too long, my father came back, and he said he almost drowned in the canoe because the canoe overturned and he couldn't swim. And he finally made it to the shore, and he came back. He really had a hard time coming back. He said he overheard where he was hiding that the Germans not only going to take the men to work, but they also gonna take the women, and they might kill the kids.
Uh-huh.
So my father came back and said to my mother, you want or you don't want, we're going. And my mother still didn't want to go. He had to promise her that she can take all her schmatters and
Yeah.
all her silver, and he carried everything on his,
Not the furniture.
not the furniture,
Okay. So
but the silver and the red Prussian cauldron. By then, what they had on the bed, because the table was in the bedroom, had to be the same. Was a whole set, and drapes also,
Uh-huh.
velvet. And my father carried it on his. So not only that, but his mother, my Baba, promised if we'll go with my father, she'll take care on the store and on the property.
So your grandfather wasn't running anywhere, right?
My grandfather was dead already.
He was-
He's died.
That was your father's father.
Yeah,
What
but-
about your mother's?
He didn't wanna.
He was gonna stay.
He was gonna stay
Okay.
with Guccialen,
And with his horses.
with his
trailer.
horse, with his
Yeah,
horses.
and, okay, so they were gonna take care, and also.
They promised my mother that they gonna take. That's how my father got us all out, and my father had to carry all the way. He was cursing. It was so heavy.
So where, he had to carry it to where?
Also, we had to smuggle out.
Yeah.
We went to Białystok.
Straight to Białystok?
I think so, straight to Białystok. And the Jews in Białystok were terrible. They chased us from one shul to the other because we stayed in shuls. There was no room on the floor. We used to sleep like herrings. And those Białystok, the natives, they called us the refugees. Wie is dat geheißen? Bieżeńcy, they called us.
Yeah.
They chased us just
Were
like
there were a lot of refugees then, it sounds like.
Yeah.
The shul was full, floor was
A
full.
lot.
People going into the bushes. Oh,
Oh, this was under the Russian. Białystok was under Russians, I think.
was it a long trip from Grodzisk to
It
Białystok?
was a lot of smuggling. We had to go through borders, I remember. And I remember some people used to be communist, and they thought that they'll come to the border, they'll say they come, and they used to show papers.
Yeah.
They thought they're gonna have a big welcome, but instead they were really punished for that, a lot of them.
Uh-huh.
And in Bialystok, we couldn't take it anymore. We found out the registering to go to Russia.
Okay.
So my
How long were you in Bialystok?
I don't remember.
A little while, a long time?
Not too long because it was impossible.
You're just going from shul to shul.
From shul to shul, from place to place. And Phyllis was still a baby, and my father still carried those things. And he really used to say his legs are killing him and his back is killing him. But my mother said she needs all this. And he listened to her. And a lot of people registered, they wanted to go back to Poland. The people that registered to go back to Poland, they sent them to Siberia.
It was a trick, huh?
Yeah.
If you wanted to go back to Poland, then you got
Yeah.
the worst place.
And my father said he wants to go to Russia.
Why? Because it was better than any of the other choices.
Maybe he was a little communist too, I don't know.
Who else was with you? Just your father, your mother, and the other kids?
And the four girls.
Not Fete Elle, not
No.
Fete Yitzchak,
No. But Yitzchak was
in France.
Yeah.
But not, okay.
Not the Buba, nobody. So anyways, my father went and registered to go to Russia. You know where they send us? Where the train doesn't go further. We were traveling for months in those
Months?
In those wie sucht man da trains? Kettle.
Yeah.
They put us in. And our biggest treat was to go out in the morning to take some hot water from the locomotive.
Uh-huh.
And the stations.
And it was terrible. Finally we came to this place.
To where the tracks don't go anymore.
The only thing there was there is a big ocean.
Where was it?
Balkhash in Kazakhstan.
There's an ocean there? Not
A
an ocean
big-
though.
A big ocean. All I remember, all we ate is fish. My mother used to make from the fish meat and chicken from this. They
I
used.
have to look, what sea is there? Is it
I
the
have no
Black Sea?
idea. I have no idea. My father used to go fishing. He used to
It was
bring.
fresh water or salt?
I don't know, Maris. My father used to go fishing and bring a fish. He used to carry him on the shoulder, and the fish was still dragging the tail.
Uh-huh.
So from the fish, we made everything.
There were a lot of other Jews with you?
Yes.
Take a look at the tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And over there, the climate was terrible.
Too hot, too cold?
Hot, very hot. And we got malaria there and typhus. We all had typhus.
Were you sleeping in a house or in a tent or?
It was a barrack,
Uh-huh.
and there were, I don't know, 30, 40 families in a barrack, and 80% of the kids died there. I remember trucks driving up every day and just throwing on the trucks those dead kids from the typhus.
Uh-huh. But none of you kids died from the type.
We also had, but we didn't die.
Resistance.
We were one out of 2% maybe that 98% died there, the kids, especially the kids from typhus. And my father was a tailor in Russia. Tailor was very good. He used to make nice money. My mother was very stingy. She always he used to bring the home, I remember, in Russia was, the money was red, chavan, rubles. The red ones were like $100 bill.
30 rubles. 3
Thir-
months.
he used to bring home a lot of those,
Uh-huh.
and my mother always used to hide them, and she never wanted to catch one. And my father used to say, "Zatnishkainka blit." He, she was the tight one, he was the. Anyways, we with the fish, and then we had a lot of money then on black market. And we also got lettuce from Grodzisk there,
Yeah.
from the Buba, that she's waiting for us. She washed our good dresses she wrote us. And
How did she send a letter to you?
I don't know. We,
end of the earth?
we wrote to her,
Okay.
and the letters came to her, and then we got letters from her to Kazakhstan, Balkhash.
Uh-huh.
She said she ironed already the dresses for us, and she hopes we'll be back in Grodzisk soon.
Uh-huh.
And so we were, as I told you, we were all sick, the kids, and my father made a good living there. Then we found out Federale was in White Russia, in Mogilov.
He also ran away and got
He,
there a
it
different
seems
way?
that he was in the army, in the Polish army.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, I'll wait. When the war broke out, before my father left, we all ran to Warsaw. Because they said in Warsaw they will be safe.
Uh-huh.
And we stayed, I don't know whose
Please.
house, whose family lived there. You remember we went to the Grodova 28? The house
Right.
wasn't there.
Right.
We stayed in this house in Federale
With relatives.
with relatives. And the bombardment was unbelievable. I was the worst one. Whenever there was no stop, I used to take a big, in Poland I used to have the big pillows. And how old was I? 9 years, 10 years? I used to take this big pillow and cover my ears so I shouldn't hear. And then during the night, we used to go across the street. We used to go over dead people already, over dead horses, to a bunker
Uh-huh.
to hide there.
To sleep there, yeah.
To sleep there. And the
Uh-huh.
bombardment didn't stop. And
So it wasn't a very good idea to go to Warsaw. They weren't bombing grudges like that.
no, but everybody said that Warsaw will be safe.
Mhm.
And then I told you my mother had another brother. His name was Beiro.
Yeah.
He also was very family oriented. He had then a girlfriend, I remember, and he used to come to visit us to the Grodova 28 every day.
From
But-
grudges?
No,
From-
he was also in Warsaw hiding
Uh-huh.
with his girlfriend, but they lived in another house.
Yeah.
And you know how he used to greet us? The kids, he used to take every one of us with his hand by the chin.
Uh-huh.
That's how he used to say hello and goodbye. And one day he went back to his girlfriend there, and the bomb fell in there, and that's where
Uh-huh.
he was killed. Then I think that's when my father ran away,
Uh-huh.
where he almost drowned.
So during that time you were living in the Warsaw Ghetto?
And there was, yeah, there
So
was
it
no
was just
ghetto,
like
there was,
ghetto yet.
there was no
It was
ghetto,
just a Jewish neighborhood?
a Jewish neighborhood, and it was terrible in Warsaw, as I told you. We used to, dead people, it was across the street, I remember. And in this bunker was crowded with babies and crying, and people, it was like animals we lived there. And then I think we went back to Warsaw, and then
Went back to grudges?
to Grodzisk, and then my father said, and then my father went away.
Right. Uh-huh.
And then he came back for us, then we went to Bialystok.
Right.
And
Where was
we-
Fetaella?
We
started-
didn't, after that we didn't know where Federale
And then
was.
you heard from him that he was in White Russia.
In White Russia. We got a letter from him, And he said, as Kazakhstan was so far away in the war,
Mhm.
what's the matter?
It's getting towards the end. I'm gonna change the tape now.